Hey guys, welcome to Hughes History. We're going to hit you up with the Faithless Elector in this lecture, see if we can't wrap our heads around the idea that an elector in the Electoral College really doesn't have to go with the will of the people. What you talking about, Mr. Hughes? Let's see if we can't grow our brain 10 times its size as we do a little bit of the learning on the internets right about now. All right, folks, why don't we start with the idea that the Founding Fathers do not really trust democracy. And of course, you can look at the Federalist Papers, and specifically Federalist 68, written by Hamilton. There's already a video right on there about the Electoral College. But when you look at the Constitution, specifically Article 2, Section 1, and it outlines the methodology for choosing the president, the popular vote, of course, is not taken into account. And in fact, the actual vote occurs not in the election, but in the Electoral College, which is held on December 19th. And according to the Constitution, these electors, these people of privileged status chosen by their political parties, do not have to vote with the popular vote. Now, in fact, 29 states have laws that bind the electors to the popular vote, but those laws could be constitutionally challenged. They've never been challenged before. But in 21 states, other than a financial fine, you are perfectly within your constitutional right as an elector to cast your vote at the Electoral College for whoever you want. And in fact, there's been 157 faithless electors in American history. Now, we should mention 71 of them were because the candidate had died before the Electoral College. I'm thinking specifically of Horace Greeley, who died after the election. He had lost the election, but he had won some states, so those electors had to vote for somebody else. But right now, we are in a post-Trump election. He is now the president-elect of the United States, and those on the left are bringing up this issue. There's actually a petition at change.org that are trying to get a rallying cry to push these electors into voting for Hillary Clinton based on the idea that, number one, Mr. Trump is unfit for the presidency, and their job is to guard against this tyranny of the majority, and number two, she won the popular vote by over 400,000 votes. So that certainly could happen. Now, it looks like the final Electoral College tally for 2016 is Donald Trump is going to have 306 electoral votes, Hillary Clinton 232 electoral votes. So that's quite a large hill to climb. Not only are you going to have to get 38 electors to become faithless electors, but you're going to have to do it in red states. The process for choosing those electors is held by the state legislatures. The state legislatures in the states have really turned that process over to the political parties. So in a sense, when you're voting on election day, you're not voting for the candidate, but you're voting for a block of electors that have been chosen by the political parties themselves. So you'd have to get 38 die-hard Republicans, people that are loyal Republicans. They're so loyal that their party chose them to be an elector in the Electoral College. You'd have to get 38 of them to flip to make Hillary Clinton the next president of the United States. And dare I say, I'm not so sure that's going to happen. But there is another scenario, probably a more likely scenario, where Donald Trump still does not become the president of the United States on January 20th. And we're going to take a look at that scenario right about now. Now, there is another scenario that's a little bit more likely, not a lot more likely, and in this scenario, Hillary Clinton does not become president. But if something extraordinary happened, like we found a videotape of Donald Trump committing a murder, I don't know if you do that when you say murder, but if that occurred, certainly the Republican Party could make a push to get their electors to vote for Michael Pence instead of Donald Trump. And if enough did that, if all of them did that, if 270 did that, then Michael Pence would become the next president. But what would likely happen is some people would still vote for Donald Trump, and then maybe more than 37 vote for Michael Pence. And we get an Electoral College where nobody has gotten 270. And now if we go to the Constitution, that's going to mean that this election gets kicked to the House of Representatives. But there's a problem, Houston. According to the Constitution, the House of Representatives would only be able to choose between Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton. So they'd have to take a pass. They'd have to have a bad vote. Maybe some of them would just vote for Kermit the Frog or something. But in that scenario, it then gets kicked to the Senate, where Senate Republicans would most likely be able to vote for whoever they wanted. They would vote for Michael Pence, and then Michael Pence would become the president. But again, we're talking about just crazy ideas, but certainly it could happen. We have to remember that in the original Constitution, there is a slighted eye towards democracy, the tyranny of the majority. That's why we have a republic and not a democracy. And these electors, you have to remember, it's almost an elite theory of government, are there to protect us from ourselves. So there you go, guys. We hope that your brain's a little bit bigger and you understand what a faithless elector is. And certainly if you want to put your name on that petition, go for it. It's down in the description below. It's just a petition. It doesn't mean it's going to happen, of course. And we certainly hope you subscribe to Hip Hughes History. We have over 415 videos designed to make learning fun and easy. Easy breezy learning. How about that, kids? And I say it at the end of every lecture because I mean it with all of my heart. Where attention goes, energy flows. We'll see you guys next time. Let you press my buttons.